And we have online the most honorable Juliet Holness, my very special guest this morning for my representative. Good morning, ma'am. How are you this morning?
Hi, Vernon. Good morning. Good morning. Good evening, Sam, and good morning, Jamaica.
Great to have you. We're having some technical challenges, so I'm going to ask you to move a little bit away from the mouthpiece because it's sounding a little bit distorted because of what the technology we are using to communicate with you this morning. Now, one of the concerns that many persons have been having is about job description. I must admit, you go along with it because it's good to have it on paper. But I'm quite aware that when it comes to members of parliament, they probably have no job description, so they don't have to do any and everything. So I said to myself, it would be a very good idea to ask you about some of the things that you do. Marky, I do know some of the things that persons call on you to do or request of you. Their sisters, they really shouldn't be burdening you, but you can't turn them away. So tell us about the work of an MP.
Well, as I told someone who asked recently, the member of parliament role is primarily that of writing, reviewing the laws, the legislations that we have that govern how we function as a society to make sure that we put laws in place that protects all of us, that one person doesn't benefit at the expense of another. Generally, all the laws are for that purpose. And that is primarily the role of the member of parliament, legislation, making laws, reviewing laws. But that is actually not what our constituents think, understand, or believe. That is never what we communicate. So I have had persons who come to me as the family counselor. I have no problem with it. They will call me, they're having issues with their spouse. So you act as someone for issues of land, for issues of domestic arrangements, sometimes even domestic violence related issues as a sort of mediator. And it is sometimes extremely important. You are expected to know and understand everything, and I mean everything. So constituents believe that they can call you and ask you anything about an embassy, how they're supposed to approach going to get documents, to get their passport, to get their visa, how they must figure out how to put in a water meter, if they need a JTS pole, how it's going to come into the community. They want you to understand every single thing about everything. You should not be unaware or do not know anything that they need. And I understand it because it's a part of representation in that your constituents need someone sometimes to stand in the gap and explain to them how government works, how things work, and be able to help them when they cannot help themselves.
You know, ma'am, if I didn't have the same problem, when I listened to you a while ago, I'd have a headache. Yes, I would have a headache. But because I am quite
Bernard, you have to love it. That's the only way you don't have a headache. You have to genuinely love what you do, and you have to love people, and you have to be willing to go beyond what is the MP's role in interacting with persons, because the job description speaks about how you communicate, how you ensure people understand. But we are human beings, and the way you reach people is how you relate to them, how you interact with them, how you look at needs that they may have, that there is not a structure in government that will deal with that immediately. So for me, I literally, outside of my MP role, raise resources through my Save Our Boys and Girls Foundation.
Yes.
And I keep other events that I know people need, but guess what? There is no structure in government for that. So people will ask me for serious, can we give cake to the teachers when it is Teachers' Day? The answer is no, because the government structure is one, for the MP to put in place permanent development arrangements for communities and to be able to help with immediate and urgent needs like the death of someone, people needing to be able to set up a little small business and you need to react urgently to helping them. But it is not a role that is setting up the Member of Parliament as a permanent office of distributing scarce resources.
Yes.
That is not the role or the expectation. But because the expectation has changed over time, Vernon, it ended up that we have what is the Constituency Development Fund, which has still tried to make sure it is skewed to more development than anything else, but it is almost standing in the gap of helping in the interim when you can't get something as an individual from the agency yet. And you can reach out to your MP and in 2-3 weeks they can help you because this thing urgent. So Vernon, I spend a lot of time and I would love that the programs continue to spend time just helping persons to understand what different arms of the government do so they know how to approach the agency, and for even members of parliament and councillors to be more understanding of the people in the public, because they genuinely just need someone to help them and to guide the way and to tell them how to approach getting help when they need it.
And I tell you something, I am aware of some of what you go through because I go through the same thing too. And sometimes you might say, well, persons can't help themselves, but you'll be surprised. Sometimes persons just lack the confidence, like they need to contact the permanent secretary. And probably permanent secretaries need to make themselves more approachable. But they're scared, and they will tell you that is true. If you call a government department, you can sit on the phone for hours, you can't get through. So it's easier for them to call the Member of Parliament. And the Member of Parliament, if the Member of Parliament don't answer, they say, well, we can't ask the Member of Parliament. But I think if we can get the public sector working, it would reduce a lot of the work that you have to do and I have to do also. And it's not just the public sector, because in the private sector, yes.
Vernon, I'm not hearing you clearly. You're definitely coming very muffled. Yes. But there's a particular reason why I will tell you it doesn't work that way and it is unfair.
Yes.
It is important that persons know and understand the role so that they don't think it's the MP's role to do something that is the agency's role to do.
Yes.
But if 1,000 people call the agency, call the CEO, if everybody call it Mr. Hunter, if everybody call the permanent secretary, they will do no work. It therefore is the reason why there's a structure that you have an MP office and you have councils, and the councils are also supposed to actually have offices in their division. And what that is doing is allowing the 1,000 persons in the division who need to reach out to an agency to come to the councillor, and then if there are other areas, so you understand what the council is responsible for, so they know, say, if it's something for solid waste, if it's something for JPS, if it's small projects within communities, and then they equally know, look here, if we need something major, like we need education assistance for tuition, for the tertiary institution, how does that get access? We go to the MP. So though persons can call the agencies, they may have fear, yes, but they also would need to be cognizant that the agency cannot take a 100,000 calls.
Right.
And so the system of government must work where you can call at different and varying levels and be able to get the support, but with the knowledge that when you do so, it is not really the MP who is going to execute it. The MP is going to make representation for you to the agency, to the permanent secretary.
There's one thing before I go for the break, and I'm going to do some work, and probably we can sound much better when we come back. Take, for example, the Ministry of Labour. There are quite a number of persons who are having problems trying to ascertain whether or not the NS is being paid over. Same thing for Housing Trust. For some reason, I think we have lost her. Now, if they had a customer portal where one could go and log on and check information for themselves, not everybody will be that computer literate, but at least some persons will be able to get information. And we need to look towards getting customer portals set up for all the government agencies so that a significant amount of the information that you want to get from that agency, you can go online, you probably can leave a message, they can respond at the appropriate time. I tell you what, we're going to go for the break. You're listening to Rhythm FM, coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica. This is Spot on, the People's Program. And my very special guest is the Most Honorable Juliet Holness, Member of Parliament, and also the Prime Minister's wife, and she's also the Deputy Speaker, I think, of the House. Hope I got all my information correct, which I'm saying from memory. All right, so let's go for the break. We come back, we'll talk with us about. And of course, feel free, if you have any comments you want to make, just send me your WhatsApp message to 876-816-5261. You can send me a message, or you can send me a voicemail. Vernon Darby, your friend, saying to us now 16 minutes past 11. So come back. Don't move.
You're tuned to Vernon Darby. Oh, love, get ready for roller. Oh, love, ready for roll, ready for roll, ready for roll. Vernon Darby, roll, ready for roll, ready for roll. Vernon Darby, roll.
Welcome back. You're listening to Rhythm FM, coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica. My name is Vernon Darby, and this is Spot On, your People's Program. And we have on the line the Most Honorable Juliet Holness, Member of Parliament, I think also Deputy Speaker of the House. What you have quite a number of titles, ma'am. I don't mention mother yet, you know. I don't mention.
That's exactly what I was thinking. You didn't say mother. My primary role
is a mother. And no, parliamentarians have come under some serious fire in recent days, and you understand why. And I love you to deal with this issue and to talk to them. And that is the significant increase in salaries. Because persons are going through difficult times, and they say, hold on, how come MP gets so much money? 200%? No, man. How do you react to that?
I will start by explaining to persons that misconception and misinformation is always a serious challenge.
Right.
Across the government, for the very first time in our history, there has been a salary adjustment, not based on just inflation, but looking at persons, the category that their job fits into, the type of qualification required for where they fit in the organization's chart and structure, and the technical nature of their work, whether they have to work overtime, whatever the strictures of their job is. And right across the board, the police, the nurses, the judges, teachers, even at the lower level, have gotten significant increase. Most persons getting over 100% increases.
That's in the public. That is not coming out though, you know.
No, I know, and some work needs to be done in that respect, because they do put it up on the website. I've seen it by the Ministry of Finance, but the average person is not having access to the information because they just don't know it's there. And they need more persons to be willing to talk about it, to explain, and ensure that persons understand. Persons will have views because they genuinely hear something that's wrong. What they hear don't make no sense, and they talk based on what they're hearing. So we have to do more of that, making sure that we provide the information. So for parliamentarians, I remember saying to someone 21 years ago, I was earning more, a little bit more than what I was earning before the increase.
Yes.
And it was important to say, because the salaries you earn in the public sector is always far less than private sector. You're earning a percentage of. And that is fine for those of us who said, look here, we want to give service to the country. However, with parliamentarians not having an increase of from 30 years now, or 37 years.
Hold on. No, hold on. 30 how much years?
37 years, I'm told, when I listened to when they last had an adjustment.
Yes.
And it happened, and that when I heard Prime Minister talk about how we are now at 74%, our debt is 74% of GDP, I want to go into that next, Vernon, and I'm willing to come and talk with you more, because there's so much that our country doesn't understand when persons do these presentations, and they need to break it down for the people. So, we were not growing our country. If you're not growing, what would have happened to us in days gone by? I remember in the 90s, civil servants were having wage freezes for a long time, or 4 or
Right.
5 years, but would not be getting increases.
Mm-hmm.
Parliamentarians would have had to also bear that brunt, because if you can't pay your nurse, you can't pay the teachers, can't pay the judges, how can you pay parliamentarians? So they actually held back for many years. Their salary, however, was always from time immemorial, from the beginning, pegged to the permanent secretary, who is the CEO or the accountable officer at a ministry. That's where they peg the cabinet salary, the cabinet minister's salary. So the cabinet minister got $52, $1 per week more than the person who reports to them at the highest level in the ministry. $1 more per week. And then all the other salaries, the prime minister, the member of parliament was pegged to that. And what they have really done is to say, let us restore that arrangement. Whatever the permanent secretary is getting now, having had 7% increase, 10% increase, 5% increase over all these years, we are now reapplying, taking it back, so that there is justice and equity in parliamentarians getting the equivalent of what they should have always been getting.
But you see,
They
there
have
now, ma'am,
already foregone
you have learned the
many
hard
years
way, you know.
without.
What history has taught us, what politicians have done over the years, is play politics and say, all right, we're not going to take it in increase. So no, you learn, don't do it again. Because what is happening now is that when we hear that you got 230%, we say, what a wicked bit of people them.
Mhm.
So you see, we
But
should...
now you understand what happened. And I think that was always what people needed to appreciate. That was never explained. You shouldn't hide from it. I think as a member of parliament, I must be a very different person. I believe that you must sit and talk to people.
You must.
You must explain what
Yes.
you're doing. And I am never afraid to explain. I can be right, I can be wrong, but I am going to tell you what is the thinking, the thought process, the mindset. And if it needs to, I'm going to break it down to the man on the street. That is
My concern, though...
So when the Prime Minister said the other day that GDP is 74%, our debt is now 74% of GDP, they need to understand that before our time, we were at 140%, meaning, say, you earn $100,000 for the month, but you owe $140,000, and you still need to run hospital, you still need to run school and pay, you still need to pay and run the police station, you still need to fix road, and you still owe far more than you're
Well,
earning.
guess what? What you just said a while ago,
Jamaica has
ma'am.
come a far way.
Yeah. What you said a while ago is
Finally.
how we should speak to the people, including those in the public sector. When you tell them about percent of gross domestic product, it's good to hear it though, you know. But at the same time, we must break it down so that they can understand. So
I couldn't agree with you more.
So because we don't communicate with people, let me tell you something, ma'am. Just putting up an ad or just talking in parliament. Gone are the days when you had probably one radio station, well, two radio stations, just one you used to carry parliament, that's JBC in those days. You have quite a number of stations though. So when you're in parliament and it's not carried right across, you're not heard. So the whole idea, I think, that you said it in parliament and you have communicated it to the nation, that's not what happened.
No, but that's one problem, Vernon. But
Yes.
the other problem that we're having, and you see a lot of employers complaining that they can't find people to work in Jamaica.
Yes.
Over time, we have to be careful about what is happening. Technology has gone way ahead, and it allows us to do more. But what it has also caused, a lot of people not reading, a lot of people not investigating and learning for themselves, a lot of people are not thinking critically in the way we used to when in days of old.
Hold on there, Mrs. Holness. You know why this is so? For some reason, the educational system has changed. It's the emphasis now is on passing 10 and 15 subjects. That we no longer teach civics in the school. I hear it will be reintroduced.
That's major. That's a
Right?
major.
Therefore,
that's a major thing that
it
we
is
need
major.
to think about, because civics is why many people don't understand how government works
Exactly.
anymore. They don't understand our connection to our history and to our past. They don't get it. They don't understand it at all. Even some persons in parliament, it takes them a while to understand how the executive function. I listened to someone on a radio program the other day saying that, they have to beg the minister when they want something. It doesn't work like that. That is a process that the minister and the executive has a role and function. And the member of parliament needs to understand you get more out of government if you are an excellent representative and advocate for your constituents.
Yes.
So I keep telling persons that when I went down to NWA to sit down and ask them how the process works, I went to every agency of the government. I want to understand how this process works so that it can benefit my constituents. And say, Mrs. Holness, you are the first person to come down here. I remember NWA was the only place that told me I was the second person. Nobody else don't come to ask no question. I went to JFIT. I got to NWC. I tell them to print out the list of all the water systems I have. Where are the catchment areas? What is the system? How much water? What are the issues? I walk with them and visit every one of them. What that does, when you make sure you build a relationship with the people at Ministry of Labour and Social Security, with NWA, with the people down at KSMC, if you're in Kingston, with all the various agencies, what it does is, separate and apart from thinking you need to go speak to no minister, I don't go to any minister to ask for anything. I write to my agency and I go back and sit down and say, what's going on? It's taking me 6 years to get this done. It's taking me 4 years to get that done. It's 3 months ago since I tell you about this breakaway. What is happening? And I go through the process of what's happening with the budget, when them doing supplemental, and when they will have funds to be able to do X, Y, or Z, when I can get some patching. And I'm very strategic as an MP, spreading the limited resources around to say, okay, I need to patch this part of that main road, then that one. And I explain it to my constituents. When you tell me, Mrs. H, we need a road to fix, me tell you straight up that that road not going to fix. I must be the only MP who said that road not going to fix, because I am not going to tell them what I know is not true.
Yes.
And I explain why. And I say, all right,
I want to interrupt you there,
Mavis Bank Road first, because 7,000 people drive on Mavis Bank Road. But you see Roberts Field Road, you from Roberts Field, you drive on Mavis Bank Road. But all of the people who come through Mavis Bank don't need to come up to Roberts Field.
Right.
So Mavis Bank, go and get fixed first, then Roberts Field. And the people understand. We should not underestimate people in Jamaica to understand and appreciate, even when they have to go through some struggles. If you spend the time for them to understand and appreciate, they get it. Get it.
I want to let me just interrupt you there. But you shouldn't be the one. Well, you should reach out to them. But at the same time, these organizations need to reach out. I'm going to tell you, you'll probably be shocked. There are some agencies that don't speak to some of us at all because they don't like us. You can't run a country like that. The NWA is an agency.
Complain about that as well, strange enough. Challenges with agencies, and I'm here.
Yes, I'm telling you that they don't speak to certain MPs. I'm quite aware of that.
MPs, they don't speak to. Some MPs have complained about that. And I am going to make it a point of duty as a member of parliament myself. I probably, unfortunately, I try not to approach anything from the hat of being married to the Prime Minister. As a member of parliament...
Let me stop you right here, ma'am. The nation, let me stop you right here. The nation, whether you realize it or not, the nation at this point in time, they hardly think of you as a Prime Minister's wife, I'm telling you. They see you as independent. The word out there, I get calls from overseas. They say you just speak and you just talk your mind. They see you as a very strong MP. And I tell you what, he's probably come on a flag. Well, on my program, people say, Vernon, why they don't want to get their own ministry? So I don't think people have time to worry about whether you're the Prime Minister's wife or not. No, it's like myself on radio. I vote for a party, but for some reason, I don't bother with me because I know me just tell the truth. So, you're coming across that.
Well, I'll tell you, Vernon, yes. In the interest of all Jamaicans, I am actually going to try to meet with the head of each agency.
Yes.
With the understanding that if you have members of parliament that just cannot seem to get through, you won't talk to them, we need to resolve it. It's important.
Very important. And even the media too, ma'am. You can have people take
they cannot reach you in the agency because you cannot take 1,000 calls. The least you can do is take the call from the MP or the councillor.
Exactly.
Who would be bringing forward the issues from the 1,000 constituents who may have a problem.
All right. I'm going to come up with a hypothetical MP, and if it wants so like anybody else, I couldn't care less. You have a hypothetical MP, miserable and cantankerous, but guess
Lord
what?
Jesus.
Just like
I don't know who that is.
I know you don't know.
I don't know who that
Hold
is.
on. Just like how you have some of us consumers who are miserable to and come and make up noise. As an agent of the state, you have a responsibility to listen and could have raised them voice. It is not about your ego. It is about your job.
It is about the people.
Exactly. I'm going to look at the NWA, for example. I call them the National Worthless Agency. I have found... Yes, ma'am.
Please don't call them that.
No, they don't. They deserve that. When it comes to roads, and they're embarrassing the government. Let me tell you, it's two things holding back this government, is crime and the roads. Two things. And the NAA is not helping the government. They're probably working hard, I don't know, but it's not coming across. And when you call them, you have some government agencies, nobody try to call them. You sit on the phone for probably 2, 3, 4 hours. And nobody leave a message. Nobody send them an email. I'm telling you from the position, here my on radio, and people come to me. I say, Mr. Darby, we can't get them. So these agents, I hear we talk about accountability for members of parliament and job description. I think where we need to put the emphasis is the state agencies.
Absolutely, the agencies have to be accountable.
What me tell you, one deputy mayor told me.
How much representation you make, they are going to be the implementing organization. That's what they are. They actually carry out the work.
You know what them told me? There's a Vernon, the politician come and go with there. We now move. That's what one of them told me. So I'm not asking you have persons in the parliament, not all of them, because we can name some organizations. For example, NHF, first class, you know. You have RGD, you have PICA, but you have some there, let me tell you something. And that's why you have too much work. And what is happening, because they're not working well enough, then now the public now target you. I say, you know, you don't work, you must get no pay, you must get the job description. It is the public sector, our members in the public sector, and I tell you, the crime on roads. You cannot take, for example, Trelawney. That we have the what's her name, Dalrymple, whatever it is. She worked hard and pressure and lobby to have the road fixed between Christiana there going up to also Spring. And guess what? I hear sinkhole out there over the place again. It's clear that it was not done properly. And I'm going to hear it's because of cost. It is better you fix 1 mile good. I have to explain to the people rather than put minus 10 inches of asphalt and it don't last. So it makes sense.
Well, sometimes I have to do that as well because people believe when you get a road to fix that if the resources will fix the road perfectly. It's not always the case.
Yes.
So I have to explain when the resources for rehabilitation of a road, which means a total fix. I have to explain when it's only to patch out some sections based on what they have allocated. I have to explain that this is a farm road, so it's going to be fixed to X quality or Y quality. Because literally, Vernon, the first time that happened to me, I nearly dropped down. I can never forget my first road as an MP was Dallas Castle Road. And they said,
I remember that one.
Select which road you want. And me said Dallas Castle Road, and I figure I said the whole road, and I meet with the community, and I tell them, say, guess what, the first road we're getting is Dallas Castle Road. Anyways, by the time they were ready to do the road, them said, well, 10 million is allocated to this road. Tell me which part of the road you want to fix. I said, what you mean? I already tell the people we're fixing Dallas Castle Road. What you mean, which part? They said, well, this is all the resources we have. So you have to work out what 1/3 of the road you're going to fix. I said, but I've already committed to the people that we're fixing Dallas Castle Road. Why didn't you explain it to me? And I have had to fix Dallas Castle Road in piece after piece after piece till I finish it because I already made a commitment.
Right.
As an MP, I do not jump to make any promise. Once I tell you yes, the answer is absolutely yes. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to keep pushing until I get it done. Even if the fee take 3 years or 4 years, once I remain your member of parliament, it's going to get done because I do not stop advocating for the areas I need fixed. So if anybody from Cane River Road listening, this is the only road that I've asked for last year, the year before, and I'm asking for it again this year. If anybody from Robertsfield listening, in September when they do the supplemental budget, you are going to see the resources that we got from the grant funding finally becoming available after a long bureaucratic process, but finally we will be able to fix Robertsfield Road. That is me as an MP, whether it's election season or not election season, I spend the time and explain to persons what is happening. We have to keep working hard as a government. We are doing very well. We have a lot of successes. We are able, when we report that, we now owe only 74% of what we earn. It means that just as if you were employed, you make 100,000 a month, instead of owing 140,000, we now owe 70, which means that 30,000 is there to be able to do more.
And nobody can knock the government for that. But what we will knock the government for is crime.
Takes time, though.
Yes, crime is one.
For some of these things to be improved. I have seen improvements in our crime statistics. I know we have finally invested a lot, and that's part of the problem in Vernon that we are not looking at. When you owe $140,000 and you earn 100,000, you don't invest in the police force in the way you should have.
But I tell you something about it, though. Part of the crime problem,
the problem take a while to show.
I know, but guess what?
When the problem comes, you don't fix it immediately, but we are. You are seeing additional boats on our shorelines that's helping in terms of some of the contraband coming in, people importing drugs, people importing guns, people being able to operate on our shorelines. You are seeing the investigative arm of the police improve. The other day I heard them had some shootout with some guys in St. James. And what did the police say? I heard them, we have now been able to use technology to capture these men and to be able to monitor what they're doing. So we are moving in the right direction.
But here, I'm going to go for the break now. But let me tell you something now. I'm one of them, who, as much as I will blast politicians, but with all the money you're spending, ma'am, you are so wicked, dog-heart people out there same way. And that is a challenge.
That is part of the degradation in our
exactly
values and attitudes. I quarrel, and I know some people will get vexed with me. I tell them,
so what?
The person who recommended values and attitude came up with that slogan, it was after many years, or almost 19 years of being in government, and then realized that the values and attitude was decreased beyond something that we would want to be as Jamaicans, and realized that we needed to have it. It is a critical thing. The family structure, the community structure in Jamaica needs to be rebuilt. We have to rebuild. We have to rebuild it.
Well, somebody's asking for a moral revolution.
It is part of the problem with the sense of I need to work hard for what I want. I am not going to think about taking what is somebody else's. Those are the things that we must live and let the other person live. We mustn't try in any way to do something that benefits us, that costs our neighbor. Those are the things that need to come back to Jamaica, and that is going to slowly get us back to a place where we understand that our life is valuable and our neighbor's life is valuable, that we understand that we must protect our women, we must protect our children, that women understand that you must not hide and allow men who hurt others to do it, and you are the ones protecting.
And I'm going to add to you must protect our men too, ma'am.
You have to protect your men.
They're under pressure. They've been marginalized.
Was accusing somebody of raping her.
Yes.
And then you saw the history about how much time she accused different people of raping her all over the place, and it wasn't true. And when I saw it, I said, how can a woman do something like this? When you do that, when other women really are going through the situation, how do they get the sympathy when they call out?
Yes.
You are literally making it very difficult. So people should understand that the best quality of life is a quality of life where you can feel comfortable living, you can work hard, and you can earn from working hard, and you can enjoy being alive and allow others to do the same.
I'm going to go for
back to that society.
Yes, going to go for the break. We'll come back. I want to spend some more time. Listen, ma'am, you should be on radio at least once per week, Because I'm going to tell you.
Before you go for your break, I'm making sure before I wrap up the salary, a lot of people ask me, if the Prime Minister gets paid 3 salaries. The Prime Minister gets paid 1 salary. Though he's also a cabinet minister because he has the largest ministry in government, economic growth and job creation as a ministry with 20 agencies, he doesn't get paid as a cabinet minister. And only 1 salary he gets. And as of now, having not taken the salary increase, because a lot of people still asking, he did not take it, he's the lowest paid member of parliament. Because as Prime Minister, he's paid less than a member of parliament.
And I must tell you, I don't agree with it.
The opposition leader is actually now the highest paid member of parliament in our government.
But I must tell you, I don't agree with it if the salary has been said. What you must look at is a reasonable way.
So I'm his wife, so I did ask him how he managed to decide.
So what up now? I tell you what. Is an egalitarian society,
foreign children.
No.
I understand the stance he took.
Yeah.
Because as the leader, he's taking the principled position of saying, look, until a new mandate is issued for a prime minister, I will not take the increase. And he has not. So he is the lowest paid member of parliament.
You have a responsibility getting a bigger pay than him to maintain him and look after him. I don't know why not.
I'm going to do so now. I am definitely going to do so.
I don't know why the women think that men.
As the wife of the Prime Minister, so I have to tell them, no, that job doesn't come with any money. It is a job.
Listen, I'm in trouble. I have to go for the break now. We have to have a part 2. So you're leading now. So when the man not make no money, listen. ministers heard that, the woman will have to take care of things.
Man.
All right. But let me tell you something.
Wrong with
Part of the
that.
problem is lack of communication. And let me tell you, public sector, they must talk to every radio station because every station have even 10 people do basket. So same thing with the public sector. They must watch it. All right. So we're speaking with a woman who's not afraid to talk her talk, the most honorable Juliet Holness, the Member of Parliament for St. Andrew East Rural. And I didn't mention it because we don't even think of her as the Prime Minister's wife again, but she is, and she's a Deputy Speaker.
You're tuned to Vernon Darby. Oh, love, get ready for roller.
Welcome back. We have the most honorable Mrs. Holness, Juliet Holness. Mrs. Holness?
Hello.
Okay.
Vernon.
Yes, you're back with me now. Now, I normally make trouble at this time, but I can't make that trouble. I must tell you, ma'am. And what my listeners are, I don't business which party me vote for, which party you're there with, I'm going to tell you the truth. You are definitely an outstanding personality, and even being on this program, and the way you express yourself and the ideas that you have, it's clear to me that we need to hear from you more often. And while you might be busy doing constituency work, I hope they'll understand, because at this time, Minister of Finance are trying to balance book, Prime Minister are trying everything. The government needs a kind of official spokesperson who can grab the nation's attention. Who is not scared to tell those public sector organizations that are not performing, that you're not performing. And you will come across as if you're trying to protect them because you don't want that at all. Because when they don't perform, I'm in trouble now, ma'am. You have to come back. It's all 11:57. So all you can say is a few.
No, man, we can continue. We can
Yes,
continue
we have
another
to.
time. It is my pleasure, and I'm going to make an effort to take up issues, misunderstandings,
Yes.
and start trying to deal with them because it's important. Somebody just said to me a while ago, they heard that I do not want CDF officers to be paid, and I said that's not at all what I said. I actually said that they should take it out of the Constituency Development Fund, and they should have SDC pay them directly because it allows them to be coming off this one-year contract where they don't even get gratuity and become permanent employees if possible.
Yes.
Because it is important, and they need to be paid more, but they definitely could be paid more out of current CDF. It is better that they take the CDF officers, pay them more, and employ them directly to government.
But that makes sense.
So that they are properly compensated.
That makes sense.
They have benefits. You see, part of the salary is that a lot of people
we have to only have 30 seconds left. But
one last thing, one of the issues they never understood why it was so important to do this readjustment. Now that workers, all the government across the board, all of government, police, nurse, doctor, judge, everybody, they are finally now able to get their salaries as substantially money, not benefits or allowances, but money. And what that does is your pension is also calculated on that money. Too many people serve.
Good. Have to go now. Thank you. Have to go now. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Vernon. Have a good one.
Right. Looking forward to have a talk. We don't touch the values and attitudes yet. We have others to touch. So thank you very much.
It's critical. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
It was great to have her, the most honorable Juliet Holness, talking about a number of issues. She is the Member of Parliament for St. Andrew East Rural, wife of the Prime Minister, Deputy Speaker of the House, social worker, motivator, you name it.